Yo, 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 yo. We on? Yeah? Good. Get in here. I'm going to say this off top. So it's a Monday and you did it. You worked all the way through it. You started another week. You started strong. That's great. Good for you. Awesome. No real Broncos, obviously, to talk about. Broncos to look forward to. A little bit of bitching that I want to do about the Nuggets. But, I just wanted to take this Monday to get some shit off my chest. So that's what's going to happen. Now, I'll say this for anybody who doesn't want to be a part of my little shit fit. Doesn't bother me one bit. But it's going down. Come on, let's go.
And now it's time to play everybody's favorite game.
Good news. We are putting that combination. Jesus Christ. We can't wrong.
Oh, yeah. Drink it in. We're back.
That is good news. I'll be honest, that is good news.
Good news travel fast. Keywood Truth Network. Big shout out to my man D-Mac for bringing me on board. Oren Lamena, also known as yours truly, for this part of the exercise. And you, welcome back. Thank you for having me. And thank you for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you who decide to come in here 7 p.m. Mountain Standard, 9 p.m. Eastern, spend some time with me while I ruminate on my thoughts. Now, hold on, let me share my screen. Only because I just like to. Today's not going to be as well. There's some sports in it. As Nuggets fans, we were all treated to, the different style of leadership that you can see from, well, not even the different style of leadership, just the different type of guys that we have in the two best players on that Nuggets team, right? This isn't going to be a whole Nuggets related thing either, by the way. I'm just using this as a jump off point. On one side, you got a guy who doesn't seem to be. How about Juan Soto getting 3/4 of a? Is there ever a baseball player? Is there ever any sport player that's worth $750 million? Give it up for Juan Soto in that three. I don't give a damn. Get your money, player. 26 years old, been lighting it up since he was 19. If you can get $750 million to play baseball for a living, sure, you're going to be in shitty ass Citi Field doing it, but Yankee fan was all twisted in knots too, pissed off. That was their guy for a year. They traded for him, and then he just bailed on him for a better deal, $40 million more. The Yankees offered him $760, and then he turned around and got $800 with some elevator clauses from the Mets. And I don't give a damn if I had to go playing Paw Tuckett. Fuck it. I'll take $750 million. Are you kidding me? What up, though, RJ? How are you? One time for RJ. So, just real quick as a setup, the whole basketball players, we have lives outside of basketball is akin to, remember when Patrick Ewing had that gap? Those people that are in my group, my era, remember the Patrick Ewing? Yeah, we make a lot of money, but we spend a lot of money. And it's just like, how tone deaf could you be? Watching Dallas against Cincinnati, do you think the Broncos are looking to? Oh yeah. Um, I would imagine that the rest of the season, especially after like you see the tough loss that the Chargers took, so they're going to come in, I think, with a sort of deflated, a little bit of a deflated bubble into the rest of their season, and everything's on the uptick for the Broncos. Cincinnati has, I mean, Joe Burrow's playing his ass off. He's quarterbacking the shit out of that squad, but they're only 4-8. It's looking good for the boys. And honestly, like, Kansas City, they got something. They got something working. Only this year with this Chiefs team, it looked like that was, you could see the kick, and it's just like, oh, he's going to miss it. Dong. It made that unmistakable NFL dong. Sounds like a college, like, have you ever listened to the rim in college basketball, what it sounds like on misses? That's what it's dong. You're just like, oh shit. Yeah, I think the Broncos should be licking their chops. And good for you, Bronco fan. No one, that wasn't on anyone's bingo card that the Broncos would be, dare I say, it's hard to take it away from the defending champs. But I think the Broncos are playing the best football of any team in the AFC West. I don't even think that that's like some deep analysis. Kansas City has lucked and bucked and chucked their way through the last 6 weeks of the season. They haven't looked dominant. They've looked lucky as shit. So yeah, if you're a Bronco fan, you should be licking your chops. And I know the Broncos themselves as an organization are trying to keep it level-headed, but what you don't want to do is you don't want to start smelling yourself. Anyway, I'm not there though. Let me see. I'm thinking we'll end up 5 seed, play Houston in the first round. It's looking good. Let me look at the standings. RJ, you effectively took me off my train of thought, but I appreciate it. Because all I'm going to do is bitch about hip hop and rap and what the hell happened to my heroes. Not my heroes, but my peers, really. At 8-5 right now, the Broncos are tied for third, but like I said, I think the Chargers are trending in the wrong direction. And the rest of their schedule, Buccaneers, Broncos, Patriots, Raiders. It's kind of it's an easier road it seems like an easier road to close out the season for Diego than it does for the Broncos. But I say that only because you don't know, like tonight will tell a lot about, I think, Cincinnati. You just never know what you're going to get out of a guy who's playing like Joe Burrow's playing. Who's playing as well as Joe Burrow's playing, but it's not showing up in the win column. So, and the Colts are formidable. We'll call them formidable. Like the Broncos don't have a lay down, like can't take it seriously game in their last 4. Whereas it seems like the Chargers do. So, but they're still going to be a playoff team regardless. And everything's up from there. It's all up from there. Okay. Let me get back to where I was going. Congratulations to Juan Soto. Congratulations to you, RJ. Congratulations to you, Bronco fan. You're going to go into the playoffs. So, with the Nuggets, and just, I think, as an archetype, when it comes to your best player, does your best player always have to be a leader? Yeah, I would imagine. You want some type of leadership out of them. And boy, did the Nuggets respond to what their best player had to say when he was like, maybe you bench some guys, maybe you take some money out of guys' pockets. Now, you can't do that in the NBA. The collective bargaining agreement and the NBA Players Association has negotiated themselves into a Major League Baseball type situation where the guaranteed contract doesn't demand much of the player after you get the contract signed. You can't cut a guy without having to pay a guy. You know what I'm saying? It's not like the NFL. The NFL still has the heavy hand. They still have the hammer. And where I didn't used to agree with the non-guaranteed status of NFL contracts, I see it now. I see it as a business model because like basketball is undoubtedly a worse product. The Nuggets are almost the poster child for what sports has become in this era of nothing ventured, nothing gained. When you're talking about guys who, with the exception of Nikola Jokic, and I will put Jamal Murray in that category, but not by virtue of his attitude and performance down this particular stretch. Nobody on that squad, I think, has earned the right to walk around with their chest puffed out and not give 100%, 150, 200% maximum effort every time you touch the court. Because there's nothing about your game, Peyton Watson, or your game, Zeke Naji. There's nothing about your nondescript basketball game that would require that you do anything less than. But if you got a gloomy Gus and a bad attitude guy on your squad like our boy Jamal has proven to be, you don't sit on the bench and support your guys. I still don't get that. I'd love to know what it is that Jamal's going through. You're waving off, team huddles. Just all around, just not proving to me to be a good teammate. It's just kind of like, and all these things that, at least guys like myself in my era, everything that we looked at sport to be is kind of like dashed. And all you really have is you got any action going? You got any action? Like, do you have a parlay that is going to win you substantial? Are you in a fantasy league and got guys going in? Like, all of it's changed. The lore is just not there. And in basketball, the 3-point shot has become just it's just like this Achilles heel that I don't know why everybody shoots. Anyway, the style of the game's gone down. Anyway, the point being is that it's just not what I'm used to looking at. That's fine. I'll adjust. Doesn't matter. I'm not an avid gambler. Don't have a lot, but it just sucks. It sucks to, in the case of the Nuggets, to see the best player in the game finally arrive in Denver. Like, how many times is it that you're going to have the best player in whatever sport on your squad, and he would just so happen to be paired with, as his Robin, a guy who is just like, that's not Dwayne Wade, Scottie Pippen. When I say Dwayne Wade, I think Dwayne Wade was the first fiddle, but he chose to be second fiddle to LeBron. That's not Kyrie and Luka behavior. It's like, what's your problem, bro? But it's not the way it used to be. And then I say all that to say, I said happenstantial heroes of happenstance, because I realize that it's not these guys, whoever you put in on that pedestal, it's really not that person's fault that you choose to elevate them past and beyond whatever human frailties. There you go, that's 6 for, okay, Cincinnati gets on the board again. It's not their fault that we put these people in these positions where we revere them. That's not their fault. That's a us thing. So I'm a huge fan of hip hop. I'm a participant in the sport. It's just it's something that I love. And I couldn't be more disappointed of the 90s. I used to think like the 90s was just like, that was the era. For everything that rap and hip hop has become, the 90s was that's where it got forged. You feel me? That's where the damage was done. Boy, did I have no idea how much damage was being done, allegedly. At least in one Jay-Z's case. And definitely in the case of Sean Combs, who I was never really a fan of, but he still was responsible. That's a great touchdown. He still was responsible for propelling the art form forward and mainstreaming it to the level that, of its appreciation today. If you could attribute hip hop's growth to any one guy, no, he's in bounds. That's 6. That's a tutty. That's great footwork. They still give it up in football, man. They still give it up in the NFL. I think college football is soon to surpass the NFL. Like, Did you guys see the story that the transfer portal now is just a thing? It's like the combine. It's like NFL free agency. The transfer portal's open. Who's gonna and Alabama's got a couple of receivers they want to leave. I'm looking at CU like, dude, I guarantee you they're gonna get their hands on some really, really good talent out of this transfer portal. And that makes college football that much more. So there's something. And the NFL, I think the NFL still, it's kind of crazy. The NFL, I believe, is the best product because guys still play with desperation. Guys still play with that gotta have it. The style of football may change, and the NFL keeps tweaking with the rules and making things kind of ridiculous in terms of maybe the protection of the quarterback, how much they try to promote offensive excellence just by legislating actively against defenses. What happened to the head cracker? I'm talking about happenstance heroes. I grew up in my day, I'm going to go Nikola Jokic. In my country, in my day, and in my country, he cracked some skulls. And no one was, and everyone was better for it. No, it just seems like everything that was like held close and held dear is being torn asunder right before my eyes. The only reason I draw the parallel between the Nuggets and hip hop is only because I thought we were on pace for a dynasty. And then one guy seemingly, it's not just Jamal though. I think he's not getting they haven't gotten a lot of help from what was left of the front office after Tim Connelly took that job in Minnesota. But now it's like, can they just put something back together around Joker that will allow him to be more than still the best player in basketball? And all of a sudden, my hopes, just like that, were just torn asunder. I don't want to be the Dallas Mavericks. I don't want to be the Dirk Nowitzki Dallas Mavericks that just got one out of it and then had to move on. I don't want that to be this team. I don't think I think that Joker's career deserves better. No offense to Dirk Nowitzki, but I don't, you know what I mean? I just feel like he deserves better. I don't want that to be, oh, well, he came, he got his one ring, and then he played his career out. He played out a string. I don't think he's leaving Denver. I don't think he's the type of trade me type of guy. He's just going to be like, get some guys around me. Maybe he will, though. I don't see it. Anyway, back to Jigga. I'm so disappointed, bro. I saw Jason Whitlock. He said something, and he was being sarcastic about this whole. Do I think Jay-Z is? I don't look at these guys. I look at these guys, quite honestly, as my colleagues because I'm an MC. So if I got any heroes when it comes to MCing, it's Big Daddy Kane because that's who I wanted to be when the first guy that's the one I wanted to be. Everybody else I've just really respected. But I loved the 90s. I loved the thought that my era, during my comeuppance, my formative years, that was the era that kicked it off. And it was. But, and I know these guys aren't immune to the frailties of being human, but god damn, what the fuck was y'all doing? Like, what the hell is that? And then, but Jason Whitlock, he made a point, and he's like, "Oh yeah, Jay-Z was an honorable drug dealer." You know what I mean? But I come out of the honor amongst thieves sort of school, which is, when it's nefarious activity, and let's keep it a buck. I don't think anybody makes anybody take drugs. I just don't. It's just, we don't have to get all the way into it, but it's, that's a choice. It's like drinking. Now, does it help your community if you decide to be a drug dealer? Obviously not. But when we grew up and it was just say no, Or, in some of those commercials where like a kid walking down the street and somebody forces a crack pipe on him, like, smoke this. That's virtually never happened. I would venture to guess in a 99.999%. Maybe you got dosed, at a college party, you know what I mean? But I'm saying, like, when it comes to illicit drug usage, it's usually by choice. Are those choices made maybe under not the best conditions? You're distraught from something happening in your home life, and yes, but rarely is the case where someone had a gun pointed at their head and is like, "Smoke this crack pipe." You feel what I'm saying? So for the sellers, and let's not get into the complicit nature of governing a country and the allowance of drugs to make it past the border. We know that that's a thing. All that being considered, I just didn't. Maybe we all just overlooked for whatever reason. Jay-Z openly admitting, I made it to where I'm at by selling drugs. We all overlooked it. It didn't take any sheen off of his talent. But god damn, no women, no kids, bro. They always say be careful, like about meeting your heroes and all that shit. Like we revere these, we put these, whether they're our athletes, whether they're our favorite musician, whether they're our favorite actor, politician, whomever. You put your past, I don't know. You put these people on these pedestals. The 90s is in this case is my, and I'm just, the more you hear, the less I want to know. Selling crack, I ain't gonna hold you. That's one thing. And maybe for my more conservative, brothers and sisters, you're like, what the fuck are you talking about? That's as bad as it gets. No, it does not contribute to the betterment of society. But it is in some part, in some measure, a victimless crime, except for people who get their houses run into by crackheads. And you'll say, oh, well, I don't like seeing junkies on the street when I'm driving around, beating around town in my car. Okay, that's fair. But are you victimized by that? I'm just saying, it didn't bother me. It didn't bother me that Jay-Z himself admitted to having been a big time weight pusher to get it didn't bother me like at all. I didn't blink. I can't listen to an R. Kelly. I loved R. Kelly's music. He is a staple of the type of art that was being created in the mid to late 90s that I feel like set the tone for everything that we're enjoying, or maybe not if you don't, for everything that at least the participants in urban music are enjoying now. These are the cats. I mean, look at it. Whether it's R&B with Puffy and R. Kelly, hip hop with Puffy and Jay-Z. We're talking about three major pillars from the 90s that are all fucking creeps, and it pisses me off. Allegedly. Well, in two of their cases, I don't think there's anything alleged about it. It's still allegedly about Jay-Z until you take into consideration, and this is where I feel like we got caught slipping. When he got with Foxy Brown, she was a teenager. He was in his 20s. Fuck. Now, in my defense, I didn't know that. I didn't know how old any of these people are. I figured they were all my age. Did you know when Jay-Z started dating Beyonce, she was 16 and that man was 28? Fuck. So when an allegation like this comes out, all I'm saying is, I'm like, God damn it. Just like that, an era torn asunder. I already had problems with Dre. Like, you got to understand, for a fan of and a participant in the genre, a fan of the sport, the 90s was everything. And the guys who shaped the 90s were held in a certain regard. If you made it out on the other side, because it was nothing to be like, oh, well, he's from the streets. That's why they were acceptable to the mainstream. He's from the streets. 50 Cent, he's from the streets. NWA, they're from the streets. Easy, they're from the. So when you heard, it's so crazy because certain tales of criminality, you're kind of like, you're from the streets. And then there's these things where it's like, ain't nothing street about that, bro. And it just fucking sucks. I'm not going to lose sleep over it, but it really blows. And it puts things into perspective as to what it is that you're watching when you're enjoying it, what it is that you're viewing, and where you place that in your value hierarchy. And how it is that, especially for young people, when when you're my age, like, there should be people that you appreciate. I still have heroes. I do. But, it's me and my peers that are my heroes. Me and my friend group. But you still got guys that you look to and you're like, man, that's something to uphold. I want my nephew. I got a daughter. So if it's, high profile, I want my nephew to emulate shit like that. If it's not me and my brother, there's a guy that you can look after. There's a guy that you can follow. And it's like the guys that I held in that regard, holy shit, y'all fucked that up. How? How is it that your legacy isn't just Puffy? I mean, isn't just Biggie and Bad Boy Records, Sean Combs? How are you also the most prolific nasty man in the history of nasty men? Just gross. Like being a billionaire hip hop mogul wasn't enough. You also had to add in just reprehensible, monstrous human being. Same thing with, if it's true, because you got to say allegedly, but it ain't looking good. I said the same thing with Jay-Z. He was one half of the greatest until Kendrick and Drake. The greatest hip hop battle of all time. You man. So I had to get that off my chest. I appreciate it. Thank you. Whatever comes out of this, whatever, the verdicts are, and he's, Jay-Z's come out and he's been like, he did what I believe an innocent man should do, but I'm kind of like, it's just kind of hard that when you start doing the math and you're like, well, that one was 16, that one was 15. Seems like your proclivity fits in line with your proclivities. We know what your boy was doing. We know how he got down. That's 2/3 of Biggie dead, Pac dead. I'm just talking about when you're talking about pillars of the era. You still got Outkast, so that's good. Yeah. Jay-Z. What the fuck? Okay, we still got Wu-Tang. Still got Wu-Tang. Okay. That's better. Still got Wu-Tang. The whole Bad Boy roster. Like, what the fuck? It is really. And you still got Eminem. Still got Eminem. Okay. Still got Eminem. He's more late 90s, though. He's more 2000s. They really blew this. And it's like, the Me Too movement moving through hip hop could get really ugly if it moves through the 90s. Because now you're kind of looking at people like Mary J. Blige, and you're like, well, one, maybe you didn't know, but you didn't know about none of these, man? Your antenna wasn't up for none of this? Didn't nobody say a hot piece? Because then it becomes, well, culturally, what the fuck was y'all doing over there? It's like, was it the culture of the hip hop 90s? I mean, R. Kelly, Puff Daddy, the Jigga Man. Seems kind of cultural. Those are your three biggest. Those are, I mean, that's like Sammy Sosa. What is the likelihood that when he dragged that cork bat up to the plate, that was the one and only time that you know what I'm saying? Like, what are the odds? Not too good. God damn it. Yeah, just ask Chris Bryant about how little you have to produce to get paid. Yeah. I mean, you get it how you live, man. I can't be mad at Juan Soto. Another round of applause for Juan Soto. I cannot be mad at that man. Get it how you live. At least Juan Soto's just playing baseball. Anyway, the good thing about this platform is I can use this as a catharsis for me, and I appreciate y'all for at least just giving me an ear to listen. We'll get into Broncos football. Nuggets don't have a game until Friday. We'll get into Broncos football, previewing this next week's game against the Colts. As well as talk about whatever comes out of, portal acquisitions for the University of Colorado Boulder. But today I mourn the 90s, man. Today I'm just mourning. I'm mourning 90s hip hop. I'm mourning everything that I thought that I knew. Like I said, I compartmentalize certain criminality, I guess. And I don't think I'm alone in doing that. And this goes beyond criminality. This is like, what? No women, no kids. You assholes. And when you just think about let me get it all out. When you just think about the position and the power that a pop star or a superstar has, you would figure finding a woman your age probably wasn't. So that means that this is the fuck is wrong with y'all? You see the line of thought? It's like, I'm quite sure. Would she have been the brightest bulb in the box? Maybe not. But finding, a woman your age, with low moral fiber, probably couldn't have been that hard. And it's like, so that's a thing. That's a thing. Lord have mercy on you, brother souls, man. And what you ended up doing this is where it gets selfish. You're tearing down my era of hip hop that I hold in high regard. Because fuck your music if you're a monster. I mean, quite literally. I can't play Reasonable Doubt knowing that, you feel what I'm saying? The blueprint feeling like, luckily for me, I wasn't really a Bad Boy Records type of guy. So really, I just look at Puffy and I'm like, man, bro, you really blew it when it came to just being an icon, coming out and representing, Black culture. You really blew it. You fucked that up big time. But I'm not playing the Bad Boy catalog like that, with the exception of Mary J. Blige. Then I look at them, I'm just, all y'all's peers, like, what in the hell was y'all doing? We don't do this. God damn it. I don't know if I'm going to get closure during this. I thought I was going to be able to just vent this and get it off and be done with it. I don't think it's coming. So I might as well just let it go. And then call my brother or somebody and bitch about it to them. This is all you had to do with it. Just make good music. You numbskulls.
You should be careful what you ask for. Cash flow, everyone around me. Aim for the money, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Bashful.
It's not hard.
The check cash, though.
How I get to act in the poet.
Green at the root of all evil.
All right, man. That really, I'm being serious. Hold on. I'm being serious. It really just pissed me off more than even bummed me out. But now, I will say this. Bring them all to justice. We got to know. I want to know. I want to know who all you creeps and monsters and degenerates were. And your jerseys should be ripped out of the rafters.
Easy dick. What if I told you that pain is the process, hurt worth the cost lesser?
That's gonna do it for me, man.
Sticking and moving,
picking and choosing,
pitching and losing solid ground.
Up 12, 10 toes, all of them down.
My nigga is you in or out the mosh pit.
Precious time is an illusion, true but still. This is your boy. This is how you do it. This is how it's making art.
God to an arm, leg a arm, head first. You live forever while I ride that. Nah, my nigga, watch this.
If I'm dead, am I got dead first?
Cash me out. Pocket 30, pop this Judas pill and
cash me out like all the way out.
The jury hot, but we can move it still. Win the battle and
lose the thrill of the victory
because you cheated. Talk all that light shit.
Dallas is bad, so that helps.
Like,
let me stop.
Plenty thoughts I could say.
Trailing 17-10 at the half. I hope you guys have a good evening. It'll all be all right, won't it? Somebody please tell me it'll all be all right. It'll all be all right. That real one, Coupe de Ville, that. No guns, no shooting. For the people, no guns, no shooting. Nothing at all. See you tomorrow, guys. Bye-bye.
And now it's time to play everybody's favorite game.
Good news. Good news. We are talking about combination. Jesus Christ. We can't run.